Performance, control, and ride quality are the goals of Icon's Stage 4 suspension lift kit that we have here. This is a very complete kit that is designed to give your 2005 to 2015 four-wheel drive Tacoma additional height and more capability on the trail, plus good manners out on the street. If you're looking for the ultimate lift kit for your truck, then this is going to be right up your alley. First things first though, let's talk about height and tire fitment. Now the struts in this kit, well, they are fully assembled coilovers and they are height adjustable. You can run them anywhere from stock ride height up to 3.5 inches of lift for these 05 to 2015 Tacomas. That means that you can get up to 33 by 11.5 inch tires on here without any rubbing or contact issues. However, keep in mind, since these are height adjustable, if you decide to run them at a lower ride height, you're going to need to adjust your tire size accordingly. Now, as I already mentioned, that additional height is going to come via Icon's VS 2.5 series remote reservoir front coilovers. These offer vehicle-specific length and valving that is designed especially for this generation of Tacoma. The shocks offer more travel overall than stock, and the increased piston area and the huge 2.5 inch shock body also contribute to this. If you're taking your truck off the beaten path, these are going to have more than enough performance shocks to keep up. Hopefully you can tell how big these things are. And that just means more performance and better cooling for the shocks. So even over a serious bit of washboard roads at speed, these are going to be more than able to keep up without cavitation or any other issues. And when paired with the Icon 2.0 aluminum remote reservoir shocks that you get for the rear in this kit, you're going to find excellent control, excellent ride quality, and performance both on and off road. So your truck is going to handle and ride possibly even better than it did from the factory, and you're going to be able to do more with it. Now in this kit, you also get a set of Icon's Tubular Upper Control Arms to help correct suspension geometry and further improve performance. The ball joints here are set at an angle so your suspension components can operate properly. You're not going to have any issues with alignment due to that extra height. Now Icon has also included their Delta Joint Pro ball joints here, which, hopefully I can get this for you, have 90 degrees of total articulation. So the extra height and whatever you're putting them through won't result in binding or excessive stress on these suspension components. Now the control arms also get poly bushings at the mounting points too, with big thick sleeves in them, so these are not going to go anywhere and they're going to perform excellently. This kit also includes a sway bar drop bracket, so everything works as it should as a whole cohesive package. Now the last piece of this puzzle comes in the form of the rear add-a-leaf kit. Now this is something we don't always see with lift kits even at this price point, so the inclusion here is really nice. These will take the place of your factory overload leaves, and they accomplish two things. First, they're going to give the rear of your truck 1.5 inches of overall lift, so you'll get some additional height and your truck will sit more evenly front to back, especially when paired with the coilovers. Now these are also a lower effective spring rate, which will net you a 10% more compliant ride versus your stock ones. Now the springs are progressive too, so they get stiffer as you load them up, which means you're going to have good ride quality, but they're still going to have the load bearing capability you need. That, combined with these shocks, will mean that your truck will end up riding better than it did the day it rolled off the factory floor, and it will be way more capable when you do take it off-road. Now when it comes to construction, the shocks are made from CNC machined 6061 aircraft grade aluminum. The bodies are cad plated, and inside you're going to find large diameter chrome hardened steel shafts, 5WT grade shock oil, and more for consistent performance. Both the front and rear shocks are also fully rebuildable and tunable, so these should be the last shocks that you ever need to buy for your truck. Now the front springs are cold wound and they're made from tubular steel with a black powder coat over top. The ball joints here in the control arms are sealed, and they are greasable via the Zerk fittings up here to help extend their life. Again, these also have the poly bushings, plus you get new extended U-bolts for the rear leaf springs. And those rear leaf springs are made of steel, and they come pre-assembled exactly as you see them here on the table, ready for you to bolt them in. The kit also comes with all new bushings for the coilovers and the shocks, and all the hardware that you need to get it installed as well. So suffice it to say, this is a really nice lift kit, and it's about one of the best main options you're gonna find on the market. However, that quality does come at a price. Now by the time you've watched this video, you've probably already seen the price tag, but specifically expect to spend around $3,800 for this kit. Like I said, the quality is there, but it does come at a price, as you might expect. You are getting a ton of good stuff baked in for your money though, so if you want something that's gonna last you a while and perform really well and generally just make your truck ride and drive better, you gotta be willing to pay to play. But if you can find the room in your budget, this is definitely worth the cost of entry, and it's gonna make a huge difference in the capability and the ride quality of your Tacoma. Installation gets a 3 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 6 hours to complete. Now, everything here is designed to bolt right onto your truck. There are no permanent modifications necessary, so you can return your truck to stock at any point if the need arises. You also aren't going to need a spring compressor because the front struts come fully assembled, just like you see them here on the table. There is, however, a lot to do, and you've got to do those leaf springs too, so it's going to take you some time, and you're going to have to do quite a bit of disassembly in order to get everything installed properly. However, we are going to walk you through the entire process step by step right now, so for that, let's head on out to the shop.
For this install, you'll need an impact, a ratchet, a 19, a 16, a 17, a 14, and a 3/8 size wrench, a hammer, an adjustable wrench, a 22, a 19, an 18, a 14, a 17, a 15, a 12, an 8, a 13, and a 10mm socket, a swivel socket extension, various vice grip pliers, various pry bars, a cutoff tool, a trim clip removal tool, and not shown on this board is a hole punch, a drill, and a drill bit. Today we're installing a lift kit on our Tacoma. Let's get into it. First, you're going to get a 19mm socket, an impact, and you're going to loosen these 4 nuts right here. If your truck's this rusty, please wear PPE, because I almost got some rust to the face or to the eye. Awful. Now, before we go remove our next part, you want to make sure you have a floor jack or a pole jack supporting the axle. Next, you're going to take a 17mm wrench, 17mm socket, and an impact, and we're going to loosen the lower strut bolt. Now we're going to loosen the top shock bolt. We're going to use a 14mm ratchet and a pair of needle nose vice grips, and we're going to stick the vice grips right here. Or sorry, channel locks. We're going to stick the channel locks right here. Then we're going to stick our wrench on the top. Now, normally you would be able to take a pair of an adjustable wrench, put it on top, and then put your wrench on the bottom and loosen it. But 9 times out of 10, yours is going to be the same way mine is. This is rounded at the top. So a good way to get around that and to not have to deal with that is to put your channel locks here, and then we're going to take our 14 and go on top. Now, whatever you have supporting the axle, you're going to want to lower it. Then that bolt that you left in there, you can pull it out and set this aside. Then you're going to get a 12mm socket and a ratchet. We're going to loosen this bolt right here. Next, we're going to take a 14mm socket and an impact. We're going to loosen this nut right here. Also, I would like to mention, make sure you have one hand right here so this doesn't fall on the ground. And if that starts to spin, you're going to want to grab a pair of channel locks again and crimp down here to get it to stop spinning. Then we're going to take a 14mm wrench. We're going to loosen this nut and take this stud completely out. Then again, once the bottom starts spinning, take some channel locks and grip it on there. Next, you're going to take a 14mm wrench, 14mm socket, and an impact. And we're going to loosen both of these on either side. Now we're gonna place our leaf spring assembly on our truck. Then we want to lower, or we want to raise the axle so we can lower the leaf spring onto the added leaf. Also, when you're doing this, don't worry about messing up the threads because later steps we have to cut this anyway. Then we're going to take the nut that we took off earlier, thread it on, and we're going to tighten this down with a 14mm socket and an impact. You might have to lower the jack a little bit so you can get a grip on that round piece, the bottom. So just take those channel locks you had earlier and squeeze them on the bottom. And if your socket's stuck like mine, take a hammer to it. Next, you want to get a cutoff tool, and we want to cut this stud off to make it flush. Reason being, if we don't do that, you're not going to be able to put your bump stop on. So we want to make sure that's cut. Right about there should be good. You can get it more flush if you want, but as long as that bump stop is able to fit on top, you're good to go. Then you're going to want to grab the hardware you took off earlier. Going to put it back essentially where you took it off from for either side. Then you're going to take a 14mm socket and a ratchet, and you're going to tighten it down. After that, we're going to install our shock. So first, we're going to install it like this. I'm going to push it in. Once you have it lined up, put your bolt in. After that, we're going to put the shock upright. And to get it past this, you're going to want to push on the shock. Get it upright like that. After that, we're going to take our bushings with the kit, put the spacer down, bushing. You're going to compress the shock, put it up through the hole, and then spacer, bushing. Then we'll put this on last. We just have to raise up the axle so that it'll clear that. Next, you want to raise your axle. We want to make sure that we're lined up with the leaf spring. There's a little hole there. We'll just go up. Right about there is good. And we gotta raise it up a little bit more. Then you're gonna take your bump stop, place it right there. We're gonna set this aside for now. And you're gonna take your new U-bolts, place them on top. Then we're gonna move to the bottom to show you where to bolt everything up. Then you're gonna wanna take this plate, put it up here. Then you're gonna take the supplied hardware. We're just gonna hand thread it for now. long as it cooperates with us. Next, you're going to take a 22mm socket with an impact. You want to tighten down these 4 nuts right here. After that, you're going to take a 17mm socket, a ratchet, and a 17mm wrench. We're going to tighten down the lower shock bolt. Next, we're going to take our bolt for the top of our strut. You want to screw it on. Then we're going to tighten it down with a 19mm wrench. Next, we're going to install a bracket with the hose clamps for the reservoir. Now, 2 things I would like to mention. In this video, I'm not going to be grinding this down, and I'm also not going to be drilling into the frame because we don't like to permanently modify our vehicles here. So this tape that you see on this bracket, or how I'm going to mount this to the truck, is not the way you should do it. So for this bracket, you want to place it where you want the remote reservoir to go. You're going to put a hole punch right there in the center. Then you're going to take a drill bit with some oil to cool the drill bit down. You're going to squeeze the trigger a little bit, go in, back out, go in, back out, until you've gone all the way through, and then that's how you're going to mount this. It comes with the hardware to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tape it to the frame so you guys know what it looks like. So, I think right about here is where we're going to put it. And we're going to put our remote reservoir on that. Then we're going to tighten down these hose clamps, and to do so, we're going to be using an 8mm socket and a ratchet. So now that we have successfully installed the rear lift kit for this side of the truck, you're going to want to repeat the same process for the other side. Now we're at the front, and the first thing we're going to do is disconnect the sway link. So to do that, you're going to need a 17mm socket and a ratchet. Then once you get this pulled out, you want to make sure you do the same thing on the other side. Then we want to remove this clip, just like that. Set that aside. Then we're going to take a 19mm socket and an impact, and we're going to loosen this just a little bit. We're going to leave that there just like that. Then we're going to take a hammer. You want to whack the crap out of this so that it separates. Just like that. And then you're going to get a 12mm socket and a ratchet, and we're going to loosen and remove this bolt right here. You want to pull off this bracket, and so you don't lose track of this bolt, put it in like that. Then you're going to want to get a pair of cutters. You want to cut this cotter pin off up here. You want to push it out. And we're going to loosen this nut with a 19mm socket and an impact. Once we get to this point, you're going to want to whack right here with a hammer. Then we can take out our nut. Okay. After that, you're going to remove the upper control arm nut. Set that aside, and then if we have the clearance, we want to flip the sway bar over. After that, we're going to take a 19mm socket, an impact, and a 19mm wrench, and we're going to loosen and remove the lower strut bolt. And just be careful, because once we remove that bolt, the control arm is going to come down a lot more. Then we're going to take a 14mm wrench and loosen these 3 bolts up here. Now that we have those bolts off, or sorry, the nuts off, we can pull out our strut. Then we're going to take a clip removal tool. We want to remove these clips. We want to do the same thing on the other side. Then you're going to take a flathead screwdriver and a hammer. We want to place it on this clip right here, and we're just going to tap it lightly. And if you put your hand behind here, you'll feel a harness. You just want to push that back a little bit. Then we're going to take some channel locks. We want to place them right here. We're just going to bend this back. Next, we're going to take a 10mm socket and a ratchet and remove this bolt right here. Also remove this bracket. Then you're going to want to take a 19mm socket, 19mm wrench, socket extension, and an impact, and we're going to remove this through bolt right here. If you have some clearancing issues, just take a pry bar and we can make some more room. And then you want to put on your grease fittings to do this. Just going to screw them on by hand first. Then you're going to use a 3/8 wrench to tighten it down. And you want to make sure that they're facing this direction. They should look like that. Next, we're going to assemble our bushings. So it's pretty simple. You just push it in. Same thing with this one. Push it in. Might need a little bit of some persuasion with a hammer. There you go. Now they're assembled, ready to be put in. Now it's time to put on the new shock. So to do this, you're going to locate the bag that has bolts that are kind of this gold color. They're going to be for the top of the strut. And we're going to put this in first and thread them by hand. So we're going to put it up here. Like this. Just thread those bad boys in. Then we're going to leave it just like this, just for now. Then it's time to put the lower strut bolts in. So we're just going to lift up the lower control arm and put it in. Then we're going to leave it loose for now. Now it's time to put in the upper control arm. So you're going to find the bolt you took out earlier, accompanied by the washers. And then you're going to want to locate spacers that look like this, or washers. So these are going to adjust your caster. Depending on how much you want or how little you want, or if you want it to be in spec, that's the amount that you're going to put in there. For this demonstration, I'm just going to put one in, but the kit comes with a few. So we're gonna take our bolt and our upper control arm. We just wanna start it like this. Start it like this. And we're gonna take our spacer, we're gonna put it here. You might need to pry this back a little bit more, so we're going to do that. This bolt does not want to cooperate with me. Come on. I'm gonna take the pry bar and persuade it a little bit. There we go. Of course, it spit out one of our spacers. That's fine. Get back in there. It's okay. Just want to make sure there's enough room so we can run it back in with our gun. That may or may not happen to you, but I mean, stuff does happen. And we'll just thread this on by hand for now and come back and run it in with the gun. Now we're going to connect the upper control arm to the steering knuckle. So we're going to push this in. Clamp it down and thread this on, and we'll come back and tighten it down later. Then we're going to take an 18mm socket, swivel socket, impact, and an 18mm wrench. We're going to tighten this through bolt down. Then we're going to get a pair of our locking jaw pliers. We're going to bend this back. Then we're going to reconnect our wiring harness. Going to plug it in right here. Same thing with this lower one. Next, we're going to put the shield back on. Going to clip it in. Then we're going to do the same thing with this side. Then we're going to put this bracket on. So I'm going to put it on right here. Then we're going to take the supplied nut, screw it on top. And to tighten this down, we're going to be using a 10mm socket and a ratchet. After that, we're going to tighten the upper ball joint nut. And to tighten that down, we're going to be using a 22mm socket, a swivel extension, and an impact. Once we've done that, we're going to tighten down the strut top bolts. We're going to use a 14mm socket and a ratchet. After we've done that, we're going to take a 19mm socket, a swivel extension, an impact, and a 19mm wrench. We're going to tighten down the lower strut bolt. Next, we're going to attach our outer tie rod to the knuckle. So we're just going to move it, push it up in there. Thread it on hand for now. Then we're going to tighten it down with a 19mm socket and an impact. Next, we're going to take off the skid plate, and to do that, you're going to need a 13mm socket and an impact. Then we're gonna loosen these 2 bolts on the sway bar and take it out. Now, before you do this side, make sure you do the same thing on the other side. I've already done that. So once I loosen these 2, I'm just gonna lay the sway bar down. And to loosen it, you're gonna need a 14mm socket with an impact. You can just lay that right down, right there. After that, we're gonna install this bracket. We're gonna use the same hardware. I'm gonna put it in. We're going to thread this in by hand. I'm gonna take off those bolts first. All right. To tighten this down, we're gonna use a 14mm socket and an impact. Once you've done that, you're gonna wanna locate bolts that look like this in the kit. We're going to put back on our sway bar. Oh, and if I didn't mention before, you gotta install this same bracket on the other side. So after you've done that, we can reinstall our sway bar. And to tighten it down, we're gonna use a 14mm socket and an impact. So now that we have the sway bar removed, we have to install this bracket and this bracket. So we're gonna put this bracket over top just like that. Put it up here. And we're going to thread it in by hand at first. We're gonna come back and tighten it down with a 14mm socket and an impact. After you've done the same process on the other side, we're gonna reinstall the sway bar with this hardware right here. We're gonna thread this one in first. We're gonna take our bracket up and thread this one in. Now that you've installed this bracket, this spacer, and this part of the sway bar on this side, you're gonna wanna repeat the same process on the other side. Now it's time to put back on the shield. So, we're just gonna hook it on, like so. Ooh. Thread the bolts in by hand at first. Then we're gonna come back with a 14mm socket and an impact and tighten it down. Now it's time to put in the sway bar end link. So we're gonna place this right here. Screw this nut on. Then you're gonna tighten it down with a 17mm socket and an impact. After that, it's time to reattach this bracket. We'll put that right there. We're gonna thread this bolt in with a 12mm socket and tighten it down with a ratchet. After that, you're gonna take hose clamps and this little sleeve that comes in the kit. You want to slide them over our hose clamps, just like that. You may or may not need to cut them. I'm not gonna cut mine, so I just wanna make sure that it's nice and flush and it covers everything. Should look like that. Then, we're gonna take an 8mm socket and a ratchet. We want to put these right here. We're gonna tighten down our reservoir. Might be a little bit cumbersome, but get the hang of it. Okay. So once we get this tightened down, we want to stretch it up here. Well, we might need to loosen that just a little bit. Be patient with this. It might be a little bit annoying. It's certainly annoying me, but we'll get there. Come on. Come on. Come on. All right, so we got that one started. We'll pull up the sleeve just a little bit. Oh. Now we can tighten this one down all the way. Just like that. We'll do the same thing with the top. Gotta get it wrapped around. Just want to make sure both of them are tightened down all the way. Just like that. And just to cover all my bases, you tighten that down with an 8mm socket and a ratchet. Now that you've completed the install on this side, do the same thing on the other side. Alrighty, that about wraps up this review and install of the Icon Vehicle Dynamics 0 to 3.5 inch lift system with tubular upper control arms, stage 4, for a 2005 to 2015 4-wheel drive Tacoma. Thank you for watching, and remember, for everything Tacoma, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.